Tee Higgins. He had that fractured rib and missed week 5. What's it looking like for week 6?
Limited practice. Again, ribs are challenging. Fracture worse than just bruising. Like we saw DK and Debo deal with some bruising of the ribs this year and didn't miss any time. Fracture's worse because the fracture, depending on the site of it, has potential to impinge on the lung field, which is not good. But I believe that a training staff would not allow him to play if that was if the location of the fracture was going to put the lungs at risk. So it does become a pain tolerance thing. Again, the ribs are constantly moving, constantly getting pulled on by big, strong muscles like the lats, pecs, and obliques with football motions. So it's hard to play with this injury, not even mentioning getting hit. So if Higgins does play this week, which he was limited in practice today, I very much expect him to be on a limited snap count. And he's had one good game this season. I know Burrow finally looked good last week, but if Higgins plays this week, I think you do everything you can to avoid starting him. If you're completely desperate, sure, he's a star. He could find the end zone. But if you've got any other reasonable options, you go with them this week.
Yeah, I mean, when he is healthy, he figures to, go right back to that high-end wide receiver too. I mean, if you want to try to look at it glass half full, they do play Arizona this week, which actually could be good and bad. They've allowed the 26th most pass yards, and they have kind of scored enough points to keep themselves in the game, to keep teams from throwing. But you mentioned limited snap count is a possibility and a probability. And then what if the Bengals haven't blown anybody's doors off, but what happens if the Bengals do play well, the Cardinals don't play well, especially without Connor, and they don't have to really have their foot on the gas as much? So you could see, no guarantee, but you could see limited snap count in a game that the Bengals kind of slow things down, run, want to take clock. So I am with you, Tom. Special talent, Tee Higgins, awesome player. I'm looking to pivot elsewhere unless I'm desperate. Next guy up, man, Justin Jefferson. It's terrible. It sucks. I have a feeling that it's going to be more than 4 weeks. He's on the IR with a hamstring injury. I mean, for the first or second consensus pick this year, man, just awful news. But what can you tell us about JJ?
Well, on the IR with the hamstring injury, we know these injuries impact receivers the most, especially ones with elite speed and route running skills like Jefferson. When he does return, that presence of a hamstring injury in season is going to put him at a 5 times more likelihood for a recurrence. Doesn't mean it's definitely going to happen, though. I mean, he is young, so that helps with healing and will reduce the likelihood of a recurrence, but that recurrence rate is still there. We already saw that with Cooper Kupp this year. Obviously, the best player in fantasy football, just about. When he's healthy, you want to keep him if you can. But like we talked about before, if you are in win now mode, you got to ship him out.
That's such a hard thing to do because
you have to. If you have 2 or less wins, you have to trade him right now.
It's just so hard because other teams almost know that they have you like hamstringed and like they can just take your I don't know. It's a hard situation. Make sure you're getting.
Was that a pun there? Hamstringed?
Oh my gosh, I did not intentionally do that. That was not in any type of script or notes. I think it's just in the back of my mind. I'm thinking about it. But Tom, do you think Kirk Cousins has, or do you think, let's start with this first. Do you think JJ has played his last game as a Viking? Do you think they're going to look to move him, or what about Kirk? So. There's small speculation out there. I'm just kind of lighting the fire. I'm just stirring the pot here. Cause there's people saying trade Kirk Cousins, just because they're so bad this year. I don't know what to think of the whole situation.
Well, Cousins is in the last year of his deal. So it could behoove Minnesota to trade him to.
Did you say behoove?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
To, a team that wants to contend this year. The Jets is obviously the one that comes to mind, but trading a quarterback in season is not something we see very often. No. So while there certainly would be incentive due to the contract there, I mean, they could always just slap the franchise tag on him at the end of the year.
Right.
So I think it's a nice thing to talk about, but I don't know that functionally we'll see it happen.
A lot of smoke, I think. A lot of smoke blowing going on there. And after such a great year last year too. I just finished that Netflix quarterback series, and Kirk, I mean, they had a lot of quote unquote lucky one possession wins, but it's just such a fall from grace from what they had last year. And with JJ out, we're hoping it's only 4 weeks. But listen, Jordan Addison, if you've kept him, which you should have, because you never drop rookies that are that good, like JSN right now, he should be on your roster. Quentin Johnston, he should be on your roster. I don't care how badly they're performing. You wait. And if you waited on Addison, I think he's going to be solid. You know, he's not going to be Justin Jefferson by any means. He's a different player. But I think he's a flex with some upside. Last week, 6 for 64 and a touchdown, 9 targets. He's fast. He gets open. Hawkinson, I think, is going to be force-fed targets at this point. I think it keeps him absolutely firmly in that top 4 conversation for tight end. KJ Osborne is a name that's being thrown out there. I think I got some guys in my league who are playing him or I'm playing against him. I think he's a low floor, high ceiling type of guy. He should get some targets. But the good news for the Vikings is they play the Bears this week, who are absolutely dreadful against the pass, 31st in yards allowed. You could probably get away with Osborne. I mean, it's gonna be Scott Hansen. I wouldn't be shocked first quarter. And KJ Osborne for 66 yards. And I'm like, well, there's the high ceiling, but I do think there's a floor there. But if you're desperate, which a lot of us seem to be, especially with bye weeks, Tom, Osborne might not be the worst play.